All right, guys, welcome to another video where we're going to be going over identifying trends and kind of taking a look into what's inside of a trend, pretty much just using price action. Because on Instagram, while I've been gone, not making YouTube videos, even posting on Instagram for a while, I've gotten a lot of questions, which I've been trying to get back to everybody and answering all of their questions. But one main question that I've seen, especially with newer traders, was how do I identify what trend the market is in? Okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to go over in this. So to identify how to see what trend the market is in, you guys are aware already, to the point where I'm sure you guys are aware that we have uptrends and we have downtrends, and we also have what we would call consolidation, where the market is ranging sideways. Okay, so you got an uptrend, consolidation, or in some cases, if you are a Wyckoff follower, you may call different phases of this distribution, accumulation, reaccumulation, or redistribution. You have to understand that if we're in an uptrend, you always want to check the higher time frames. Just from my years of trading, the higher time frame always wins, right? The overall trend on higher time frames, the smaller time frames are going to follow that. So if you are in a uptrend, you will always know that there will be higher highs. Higher lows. I'm sorry about that. It'll be higher lows every time price goes back down, right? If you're in the downtrend, you're looking at the lower highs, right? Every time price makes a lower high, you know that we're in a downtrend. This is why people put trend lines at the top there, and usually in the uptrend, you may see a trend line at the bottom, just to identify that we are making higher lows and an uptrend, and then a downtrend to see that we're making lower highs. Okay, so inside of these trends, in which I'm gonna get rid of these actually and draw a bigger version of an uptrend. Okay. All right. So inside of each trend, let's just say these lines here are the daily. Let me actually make this one screen for you guys so it's a lot bigger. And let's move this over. Boom. So let's call this the daily, right? The daily or the weekly, whichever one you want to call it. It doesn't really matter as long as there's some form of higher time frame there. Let's say the daily we know is inside of an uptrend, right? We're like, okay, this is at least going up multiple times. It's respecting this trend line inside of a range, right? Because as price is going up and going away from the last area, every time it comes back down, it's coming back into the previous range. So if I'm in an uptrend, that area will be something I would pay attention to. This down area is also something I would pay attention to. And of course, this down area, this is the last range. All right. So inside of each range, which this up move is also a range in itself, because if we go down, we know what high we're about to take out. If we're in the uptrend, we can aim at that major high. Inside of each one of these ranges, you do have smaller trends. Oh, let's say this. Wait a minute. There we go. Excuse my ugly drawing. You will have smaller trends in between this going up and down, even on the down move. You have plenty of up and downs in this quick down move from the daily. If you go down to the smaller time frame, like the 1 hour or the 15 minute or 5 minute, you'll see more ups and downs instead of, a clean move down before a clean move up. Okay, so we have to take that into account. So once we are looking at an entire range, I'm just going to use this as an example here. Once price gets above it, which I'm going to label this really quick, what we're looking for when price gets up here is some type of retracement back down, right? It doesn't have to be exactly to your trend line because it may not touch your trend line that one time, right? We have to look inside of this range to say, okay, where's, if you're a support and resistance person, you can like, okay, there's support and resistance there. There could be support and resistance right at the top that you may want to use. And you have to make your trading plan based off of what you're researching. Where is price struggling the most? So if you did have price coming down to that area before going up, you would have had to have your stop loss a nice, distance to be able to cover it. Right? Now, let's say you go to a smaller time frame to look within this range in that area. There could be small ups and downs that we can use before the up move, and this would be the last range, right? From that high to this low. Okay, so pay attention to that high and this low. If I'm wanting this to be something for a retest, I can highlight that area for price to come down to touch it before we reprice in higher. So that way, when it's time, price can come back down. I accidentally erased my picture here. Price can end up coming back down from the top of that to the 50%, which my lines are hideous, to the top of that somewhere in there before going back up. So it's pretty much looking inside when you identify a range and you're looking into the range for a price to get back into that range before continuing the trend. You want to go to a smaller time frame and look at the ranges that price is making within that range. So when you're starting up here and coming back down, you understand what's over here to the left. All right? If something is there to the left, you can easily get in and be good. All right? Okay, so just like a quick example. Let me draw that. Every time price goes down, it is literally retesting something inside of those ranges, right? Every time price comes up, comes down. Price shoots up, comes down in this area. Something here allowed price to shoot up. And when we shot up this time, we shot up pretty fast. And that's something else that you need to pay attention to, is how fast price is moving away from an area. So we get into an area, or, this is what I like to call my point of interest, somewhere where I would actually like to get in. This is an area that I would want to use before price shot up. So the area where price shot up from, I want to pay attention to when price comes back down. Okay, I want to find the next support and resistance level somewhere in here. So if price wanted to come back down before going up, I got a clean entry, stop loss right below this low, because if I'm in the uptrend, I'm not looking to surpass a main low on a higher time frame, which would be the daily. I wouldn't be looking to run this, looking to make a higher low and keep going up, because that's what a bullish trend is, right? We're doing nothing but making higher lows. So as we're doing that, we're just constantly catching things that are in this range. Price is above it, comes back down deep into it. If you want to use Fibonacci, that's about the halfway point. So we get down to a 61% to 80% range, which I could just use the Fibonacci here for you. Boom, 50% was really close. but it dips down into that 60-80 range, which I would like to see for a retracement, and price shoots up, constantly doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now what I want to do is show what happens when we start going the opposite way. Okay, so as you see, we start getting into a bearish trend here going down. This is the daily. Okay, so on the right, I'm going to go to the hour time frame. Okay, because on the hour, give me 1 second. I want to go down a little bit more. Oh, I can't. Oh, that sucks. So I'm at 2018, so I can't really go back too far. Yeah, I can't go back that far. Let me see if I can find something a little closer here. All right, cool. Perfect. So something like this is not as clean as I would want it to be, just like I showed on the previous one. So actually what I'm going to do is go to the 4 hour on this. Oh, there we go. Here's a clean uptrend that I can use. All right, so this entire section on the right here, I'm going to go down to the 10-minute chart on the right side. Actually, it's not going to let me go back that far. But anyways, if I were to draw a price, and this is something that you can do because sometimes lines just really help you see price a lot better in like the overall perspective of things, the overall scheme. So if price is going up and down, right? Remember what I said, starting from here. Let me mark that. Starting from here, price came down, so we'll highlight the same thing I did with the lines. I'm highlighting that down range. Let me zoom in for you guys. Highlighted that down range, so when price gets above it, I can account for price either retesting this range or getting somewhere back between this range, so something in between it, right? So right now I'm on the 4 hour. This is the 50% of that range, which that's what I just like to use. And as price is coming up, we have a smaller range inside of this bigger range that we can potentially use before price shot up again. So if I was able to go to the hour chart and come back this far, this is what I would use. We're still inside of here. We're right around the 50. But the moment price shoots up and gets above it, I'm looking for a retest of this range at the top and potentially the 50%. Since we're going up, I'm looking for a retest at the top of the 50%, which price came down right into it. So this is one of those cases where you're able to set a stop loss way down here and look to the left to see what it is that we can possibly be aiming for on this side here. Okay, so if I think I'm gonna hit there, let's just use that for right now. I have a 1 to 2.69. I like 1 to 3's minimum, or 1 to 3 risk reward ratio at minimum. If I'm not getting that, oh well. I'm pretty much not going to do the trade if it's not a 1 to 3, right? Just from the math, I have another video on here that shows the math and why risk reward ratios and risk management is so important. But you see, when price came back down to this range, it started to reprice and go higher. Now this is on the 4 hour. If I have a long-term trade like this, I can go down to the hour or the 5 minute. And in between, as price is going up to my take profit, I can find different trades. Like I trade a New York session. I can find multiple trades in the New York session going up to my take profit. When price got here, if it's New York session, I'm looking at it, waiting for price to go up again. All I'm looking for is buys in this area, just finding an entry out of ranges, inside of ranges, being able to take a trade here and ride that thing up. All right, if you wanted to make your stop loss shorter and have it on the bodies of the candles rather than the wick, the very low, that's completely up to you. And now you have a 1 to 3 point, pretty much a 1 to 3.5. So, I mean, you have a very good chance. So as price is going up and you're up a 1 to 2 or, you know, a 1 to 1, if you want to move stop loss at break even, just let that thing run. Let it run. But for right now, that was all I really wanted to go over for this, just to answer people's questions, to show that I've explained it my way. Hopefully this helps a lot. But just remember, we always got to come back down for something, right? To retest the ranges for something. We always got to look to the left. These lines could be support, especially in the bullish trend. Like, what support line are we going to hit that's within this last range? Are we going to hit before going back up? And just rinse and repeating. Don't overcomplicate trading because it's not that complicated. Make it as simple as possible so you can understand it and thrive in this community. I'll make another video on some other topics this week just to upload and make everything fresh again for you guys. Other than that, that's it, man. I hope you enjoyed the video. You guys have a wonderful week. Peace.